It's your under degrees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling 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 and sipping this tea. It's your under degrees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling 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 and sipping this tea.
What's up, Diamond Gang? What's going on? How y'all doing? I'm back. I apologize. I was supposed to go live last night and I was having some issues with my internet. But y'all know what we do. We getting ready to get into this war update, Diamond Gang. There is a lot going on, and I mean a lot. Trump is talking about we're having um, decent conversations with Iran, but still amping up to send troops on the ground. So I want to say shouts out to all my subscribers. If you new here, please welcome, smash that like, think about subscribing and becoming a member. I want to get my members only live started. I want to say hey to my beautiful mods out there. What's going on, Peanut? You created that wonderful video. Yes, that is me in real life. That's me. I want to say thank you, Peanut. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up my screen and we're gonna get straight into what's going on, Diamond Gang. Let's get into it. Let me make my screen a little bigger so you guys can see. Let's go.
I think it is unconscionable that the commander-in-chief of the American armed forces would send thousands of American servicemen and women into combat without clearly telling the American people why he's doing it, what they're there for, what the purpose of the war is. The purpose of the war was not an imminent threat to the United States from Iran. That's clearly not the case. The original purpose of the war was a war of choice, to go in, to escalate, and get a big win.
Let me tell you something, Diamond Gang. Trump has been talking behind the scenes, and I'm praying that it goes this way. But he wants to declare a victory and to get out, okay? He's actually bashing our allies and told them to go get their own oil. But we're going to get into all of that, all of that.
That has not occurred. And the purpose of the war can't be to avoid an embarrassing loss for the president. That is not a reason to send men and women into combat. If the purpose of the war is that you have to now have ground forces to reopen the strait, he needs to tell the American people that. If the purpose of the war is that he wants to take the oil,
bingo, Diamond Gang, that is exactly what he wants. He wants the oil. But right now, Trump is having a total crash out, a total tantrum right now. Let's go.
Because the U.S. has the largest oil production in the world and now has control over Venezuela with the largest natural reserves in the world. And then he wants to control Iran's oil export, because that would allow the U.S. to weaponize oil in the way that the Chinese are weaponizing critical minerals and rare earths. That is a coherent reason. It's not a reason I would support. I don't think it's a reason the American people.
Oh, yes. Let me stop this right now. Listen, Diamond Gang. I don't ask for super chat, super stickers, nor cash app. If you would like to support the channel, all is welcome, and I thank you. All I am asking for is a simple like, because it has taken time for me to put this together, to tell a story, okay, and to narrate this story. All opinions are welcomed, even if it's an opposing opinion. You just can't be disrespectful. At the end of this live, if you are new here, I will go through the comments. I will drop the link for anyone to be able to come up, to voice their opinion, and to have an adult conversation. That's all I'm asking for, is a like. Thank you.
Would support, but it is a reason, and it needs to be articulated. Right now, what we have is incoherence. We have an American president that says 5 different things pretty much every day, whose threats and escalations unilaterally have been just as quickly unilaterally walked back. And he is literally all over the map.
That part, Trump is all over the map. One day, and at the end of the day, to come out here and to lie to us without even addressing us about this war, this illegal war, he's crashing out. 1 minute He's having talks. Iran is denying it. He can't contain Israel, and they are amping up the war. So he's all over the place, but I'm hoping that he sets his pride to the side because his ratings are horrible right now. The Republican Party is sinking. He needs to get those troops out of there. They are in fear, and that's the difference between Iran and the US. These young women and men are going over there and they have so much fear. These troops in Iran have been planning for this moment for over 40 years. That is the difference. Let's go.
President Trump says the U.S. has already won the war with Iran.
We've won this. This war has been won.
At the same time, he also said the Iranians are desperate to make a deal.
They are begging to make a deal, not me. They're begging to make a deal.
Democrats are skeptical he's actually negotiating with Iran.
This president is pushing us further and further.
And Diamond Gang, I told you guys over the weekend, he is literally talking to Pakistan. He's not speaking to Iran directly.
They're into a conflict with no foreseeable off-ramp.
But Republicans say he has a plan.
He's been very clear about what those objectives are.
Trump is under pressure from Americans with the down now in correction territory and rising gas prices, something he's been downplaying.
I thought we were going to go down more, and I thought oil prices were going to go up higher than they are now.
More U.S. troops have been deployed to the region. Trump has said he wants the war to be wrapped up within 4 to 6 weeks. And we've just...
Now, let me tell you this as well. He's having phone conversations with individuals that he has no business having phone conversations with and asking them, should I take the oil? He should not be doing this at all. At all.
entered the 5th week.
Have you, in negotiations that you have been privy to, ever seen a commander-in-chief say that peace negotiations were ongoing while simultaneously threatening the nation in question?
That part right there. You're having peace conversations. This is what he's telling us while threatening these same people that you're saying you're having peaceful talks with. Trump thought he was going to be able to make them back down, and it did not happen. It did not happen. He can tear up Iran. He could do whatever he wants. But as Iran is looking at it, as long as they make the U.S. pay economically, that is a win for them. When you take their leaders, guess what? They get even more dangerous. Let's go.
Question with physical force.
No, I don't think anybody ever has. It's clear that there's this toxic mix of traits that Donald Trump has, which is he's a pathological liar. He is incompetent on so many fronts. And he's also deeply corrupt, which I think is now being manifesting itself in terms of the Gulf War. That's why you have these wholly incoherent, wholly inconsistent flailing about because, first of all, again, there was no real rationale for this war. Secondly, he's trying to figure out what his next move is. And
Diamond Gang, he's going to go down as the worst president. He's going to go down in history. Our children's children will be reading about this in their history books. You mark my words. I may not be around to see it, but I'm telling you.
doesn't understand exactly how he's going to get himself out of this mess. And thirdly, the Iranians now seem to have a lot more influence and cards to play, especially in terms of the Strait of Hormuz and allowing shipping to get out or not. And so therefore, I think Donald Trump is trying to present a false narrative to the American public by saying, yes, the Iranians now seem more reasonable. They're trying to negotiate. But
he's also creating that false narrative for the market as well.
You know, he's protected himself for so many years in this cocoon of disinformation. But the reality now is just penetrating and taking away that cocoon. And it's very clear in terms of how the war is going. Yes, we're decimating the Iranian military. But in terms of finding an off-ramp or getting out of it, as American consumers see their gas prices rise when they fill up their cars. So across the board, which is why
Diamond Gang, later on in this live stream, I'm going to break down the Iranian military and how they think and what they do. You're going to see.
Talking about the No Kings rally, and let's not forget Bruce Springsteen, a New Jersey guy, in Minneapolis.
Jersey corner.
Jersey has entered the chat.
But intelligence analysts look for trends. And we see a trend here. And we also look for, okay, if there's a trend of demonstrations or protests, what is fueling it? Is the fuel going away or is the fuel increasing? And both on the domestic front and on the international front, there is more and more fuel that is feeding those fires of protests and demonstrations. And what are these protesters looking toward? Looking toward the November elections.
What are you hearing from troops or the families of?
Pay attention. These troops are in fear.
Service members about the war itself and any apprehensions there may be about ongoing talk of sending boots on.
Listen, no plan, no strategy, no end game. Trump has no plan, no strategy, no end game.
On the ground.
They're very scared. And I've talked to parents. I've talked to the active duty troops. There is no plan. There is clearly no strategy. There is no end game. And putting ground troops in will almost certainly make it worse because it will just be that much harder for Trump to extract himself from this war that he did not need to begin. I mean, what are we going to do? Take several hundred U.S. casualties and then Trump is going to...
Exactly. This mission, Diamond Gang, I'm going to show you guys is damn near impossible. It's going to be a lot of risk. So if you have family members in the military, I am truly praying for them. I need y'all to please hit the like. I got over 200 people in the room. Please and thank you.
And what has he accomplished? I mean, let's just be clear. This war is not just bad because it's illegal. It's bad because it's dumb.
Let me tell you something. They still have their regime. There hasn't been regime change. They got the straits on lockdown, and they still have the uranium. What have we accomplished, Diamond Gang, being over there? Nothing. It's still the same as day one.
Because it's a gift to Russia, who now gets to target U.S. troops in the Middle East the same way we've been targeting them for free through the Ukrainians for the last several years. It's a gift to China, which wants to start a war in the Pacific that we've been able to deter and prevent until now. But now our military is bogged down in the Middle East, and we're using up all the missiles we would use to stop a war in the Pacific. Ironically, it's even a gift to Iran. Sure, they've had a bunch of things destroyed. They'll rebuild them. Don't worry. They always do.
Right now, Iran is making money. They're charging over $2 million to allow a boat to come through the straits. Not only that, they are receiving support from Russia. Y'all, wake up.
Right at this moment, Iran is making about twice as much on selling their oil that they were before Trump started this dumb war. So this is great for our enemies across the board. It's terrible for our allies who clearly do not want to support this stupid war.
President Trump had no strategy. They never thought outside the box. They never thought that Iran, who was planning for this for over 40-something years, 47, would close the Strait of Hormuz. They never thought that.
War in the Middle East. And ultimately, the ones who are really going to pay the costs are our troops and their families.
But the president just had this post where he says we're in discussions with a new and more reasonable regime. Let me try to pin you down on that. Who is this new and more reasonable regime? Is the United States in direct contact with them?
Well, I'm not going to disclose to you who those people are because...
Let me tell you something right now. They're not speaking directly to Iran, but watch him dance around it.
Probably would get them in trouble with some other groups of people inside of Iran. Look, there's some fractures going on there internally. And at the end of the day, I think that if there are people in Iran who now, given everything that's happened, are willing to move in a different direction for their country, that would be great. Imagine in Iran that instead...
There is no fractures. The Yemens have joined. I showed you guys the other day, they were gearing up their women, and now they are allowing 12-year-old babies in Iran to enter this war. So, yeah, they're amping up.
instead of spending their wealth, billions of dollars supporting terrorists or weapons, had spent that money helping the people of Iran, you have a much different country. So we are always hopeful that that would exist over there. It's unfortunate. The people of Iran are incredible people. The people who lead them, this clerical regime, that is the problem. And if there are new people
who is now the ones that's in place now, they think that the Ayatollah was something. Nah. These guys that's running it now, it's even worse. The last person that was able to negotiate a deal, Ali, Israel snuffed him out.
People now in charge who have a more reasonable vision of the future, that would be good news for us, for them, for the entire world. But we also have to be prepared for the possibility, maybe even the probability, that that is not the case.
Well, but the
So we're gonna
president said
test
they
it.
are. Is that the case or is it not? I'm just trying to get some clarity on that.
Well,
there is no clarity when it comes to this. They dancing and lying and all over the place, walking contradictions.
I mean is, yeah, so you have people that are saying some of the right things privately. Obviously, they're not going to put it out in press releases, and what they say to you or put out there for the world doesn't necessarily reflect what they're saying in our conversations. But at the end of the day, we have to see if these people end up being the ones in charge, seeing if they're the ones that have the power to deliver. We're going to test it. We are hopeful that that's the case. There are clearly people there talking to us in ways that previous people in charge in Iran have not spoken to us.
All they doing right now is passing messages, and both sides are in disagreement. They're not agreeing on anything, and they're passing messages. That's it. That's all.
In the past, some of the things they're willing to do, some of the things they're saying they're willing to do. Obviously, they have to go do it. We're going to test that proposition very strongly because we always prefer to settle things through negotiation and diplomacy. But we also have to be prepared for the fact that that effort might fail, that we are dealing with a 47-year-old regime that still has a lot of people involved in it.
That part, a 47-year-old regime that y'all thought that y'all was going to go in within 4 to 6 weeks and change after 47 years. I don't know anyone or anything or anybody that would change in that short amount of time. In that short amount of time. That is considered a forever war because you guys will have to forever be over there to make a change.
Who aren't necessarily big fans of diplomacy. Not only is the sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz not acceptable to us, it won't be acceptable to the world. No one in the world can accept it. Number one, it sets an incredible precedent. So this means that nations can now take over international waterways and claim them as their own. The United States could do that now. The Chinese could do it in the South China Sea. No one in the world is going to accept that or should accept that. Now, let me be frank, very little of American energy comes through the Straits of Hormuz in terms of the energy we rely on, but we recognize the impact that it has on global markets and on our neighbors, especially.
But guess what? They know it now, but they didn't think about it before they went in there. They know it now.
Our allies in the region who produce energy and have to get it out to market. So no country in the world should accept it. The regional countries in the world should accept it. The United States will not accept that condition. It's an illegal.
He said the United States will not accept it. But Trump, just today, said he may take a win and walk away. So the walking contradiction.
Condition that they're demanding. That's just not going to happen. The Straits of Hormuz will be open. When this operation is over, it will be open, and it'll be open one way or another. It will be open because Iran agrees to abide by international law and not block the commercial.
But just yesterday, we said that we was going to basically break the law and disrupt their drinking water structures, and we was just going to go in and bomb things that we had no business bombing. That was the threat. And guess what? They didn't budge.
Waterway or a coalition of nations from around the world and the region with the participation of the United States will make sure that it's open. One way or the other, it's going to be open. But we have very clear objectives that we're trying to achieve here. Those objectives are the destruction of their air force, which has been achieved, the destruction.
Ain't none of their objectives, clear. Nothing is crystal clear.
Of their Navy, which has largely been achieved, a significant reduction in the number of missile launchers that they have, which we're well on our way to achieving. And we
don't believe that. I'm telling you, Iran is being assisted by Russia and possibly China.
We are going to destroy the factories that make those missiles and those drones that they are using to attack their neighbors and the United States.
Diamond Gang, I'm going to ask y'all this, please. All I'm asking for is a simple like. I'm not asking for a cash app, a super chat, nor a super sticker. All I'm asking is for you to please hit the like. I got over 300 people in the room. I've taken time out to tell a story and to bring you guys the news. Please hit the like. Thank you.
And our presence in the region. We will achieve those objectives. We are well on our way or ahead of schedule. We will achieve them in weeks, not months. And then we'll be confronted with this issue of the Straits of Hormuz, and it'll be up to Iran to decide. And if they choose to try to block the straits, then they will have to face real consequences, not just from the United States, but from regional countries and from the world.
No, that's not true. Nobody's helping us. And Trump threatened them today and said, go get your own oil.
Well, yet again, we're getting these sort of very mixed signals out of the president here. On the one hand, he's saying that we're now talking to a more reasonable regime, when in fact, if anything, the new regime in Iran, the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, has dug in. So,
did you hear that? They have dug in. We're not talking to anybody reasonable over there in Iran.
So far, and appears to be even more hardline than it was a few weeks ago. He's saying we're talking to a more reasonable regime.
And the reason why they are more hardline is because we got rid of the leaders that would have been willing to negotiate, Diamond Gang.
At the same time, as he's saying that if they don't open the Strait of Hormuz immediately, we'll conclude our lovely stay in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all of their electric generating plants, oil wells and Karg Island, and possibly all desalination plants. Now, Caroline Levitt, the president's spokesperson, was asked at a briefing today, wouldn't the...
Which that is a war crime. That's a war crime.
Bombing of civilian infrastructure, such as a desalination plant, which of course turns salty water into drinkable water, wouldn't that be considered a war crime?
Of course, this administration and the United States Armed Forces will always act within the confines of the law.
So let's take a look at what we're talking about, Diamond Gang.
But with respect to achieving the full objectives of Operation Epic Fury, President Trump is going to move forward unabated, and he expects the Iranian regime to make a deal with the administration.
And even the Australian Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, last night on 7:30, saying that he needs clarity. He doesn't know how much longer this war will go, and he said the conflict has achieved its objectives. So allies such as Australia are wondering when this war will come to an end. But there's about 50,000 US Marines and other soldiers in and around Iran at the moment.
Did y'all hear that? 50,000 Marines. 50,000. Please know that he didn't take them over there for nothing.
More are on their way, and so if anything at this point, unless this trajectory changes, unless Donald Trump is using this as leverage, at this point, the possibility of intensification and even ground troops going into Karg Island or other parts of Iran are increasing rather than decreasing.
The president continues to say the U.S. is in conversations with a more reasonable regime, but there are now hundreds of U.S. Special Operations Forces, including Navy SEALs and Army Rangers.
Diamond Gang, pay attention. Pay attention and listen to this answer.
In the Middle East, as well as thousands of other troops are deployed. So is he trying to end or intensify the conflict?
The president is focused on achieving the objectives of Operation Epic Fury. With respect to forces that are on the ground in the Middle East, it's the job of the Pentagon to create maximum.
They said that they were waiting on us to set us aflame. They are waiting. They are waiting. Know that if they place those soldiers, Marines, if they place them anywhere near Karg Island, there are mines everywhere, everywhere. So I'm telling you, Diamond Gang, expect fatalities.
Optionality for the commander-in-chief. It does not mean the president has made any additional decisions. Again, he remains focused on ensuring that the Pentagon continues to achieve the objectives of the operation that was launched 30 days ago, and we're well on our way to doing that.
Later on in this video, I'm going to show you guys just how dangerous this is. I'm going to show you.
Americans sitting at home hearing him say, I want to talk, but I keep seeing them send troops to that region. What are they to make of what's going on?
There's two tracks here.
I know war bring casualties, but this is going to be unnecessary, and it's going to be a lot more, a lot more than we would expect. Please know that.
The president has always said that diplomacy is his number one option and priority. Again, he tried earnestly, in good faith, to engage in diplomacy with the Iranian regime prior to this operation being launched in the first place. He wanted to strike a deal, and he sent his top negotiators to do so. They spent extensive amount of time and effort trying to strike a deal, and unfortunately,
what have we accomplished? Ask yourself, since we've been over there, what have we really accomplished? There is no regime change. We don't have the uranium, and the straits is closed. So what have we accomplished? Nothing.
The previous regime, again, many of those leaders no longer with us here on Earth because they faced the consequences of the United States military. So if there's ever a chance for a deal, again, the president is open to listening, but it does not deter him from focusing on the military objectives that he set out 30 days ago and that our military is continuing to achieve day by day.
Sure, I think a success looks like the Strait of Hormuz is open. We get some kind of a deal on the ballistic missile program, some kind of deal on the nuclear program. That's probably about as much as you could hope for. But I think they're very discrete things that, for me at least, from an operational military perspective, would look like victory. I believe all of those things are actually within our grasp. We
That
just need
part, they have over 700,000 Iranian troops. I learned that today, Robert, and I will be bringing that up today. You are so right, baby. You are right. And they are waiting, and they've been planning on this way longer than Trump has been planning on this. 47 damn years. Okay?
to continue. Iran will ultimately respond to the use of force. They know and understand it, perhaps better than we have in the past. This administration is willing to use force. Other administrations have been thoroughly deterred by Iran. President Trump is not deterred by Iran.
Are they preparing for a ground troop presence? And what does that look like?
Margaret, for many years, we've considered options along the southern coast of Iran, seizing islands.
Rogue, you right. It ain't over until it's over. I'm just hoping it's over sooner than later. We got to get out of there. We got to get out of there. We have to. I can't wait to get to you guys' comments. This is the best part of the live stream is the comment section. And I will be hitting that section as soon as we're done.
Seizing small bases, typically raids, and a raid is an operation with a planned withdrawal. You're not going to stay. But some of those islands you could seize and hold. That would have a couple effects. First of all, it would be profoundly humiliating for Iran and would give us great weight in negotiations. The second, the example of Karg Island, which everyone talks.
Please, gang, please hit the like. Could y'all get me to at least 100 likes? That's it. That's all. That's all I want is likes. I don't care about a super chat, super sticker right now. Get me up in the algorithm.
About if you seize Karg Island, you really can shut down the Iranian oil economy completely. And the beauty of seizing it is you're not destroying it. You're retaining it for further use by the global economy and possibly for return to.
Let me tell you something. If they go over there and they seize Karg Island or attempt to seize Karg Island, that mission can take weeks for them to months to get that uranium. Let's not play. Let's not play like this is going to be an in and out deal. It's not. It's not. See, that's the thing. Y'all, people was looking at it like, oh, we're going to just go in, just like Trump was looking at it. He had such an easy time with Venezuela. Oh, we went in, we took over, we run that. It's not the same here. It's not the same. And I'm going to show you guys why it's not the same. Their way of thinking is a lot different.
To Iran under certain conditions. So all of these things, these are not back of the envelope calculations. These are things we've been working on for many years. And I think we're right to threaten the entire littoral, to hold all these options out there. And I think the president's message is spot on. He talks about
hold on, let me stop it. That part, I'm getting ready to break that down. CSP Tillman, there are millions of Iranian troops They have separate armies in each of their 31 states. It is insane how they break their military down. They break the way that their military is set up. There is no chill. There is no stop. There is no, it's over. I'm gonna break it down. And someone gave me a specific clip. Marie, shouts out to Universal Tea with Marie. Shouts out to Marie because this video blew my mind, and I'm going to show it to y'all later on.
These alternatives.
So there's a lot of talk at the moment about the Americans maybe landing ground forces somewhere in Iran. And there's two things that are generally discussed. One is the idea of special forces raids along the coast. But the one that is getting people really concerned is the idea they might try and land on one of the islands that are on.
Pay attention. This is showing you where they might try to land, Diamond Gang.
Holes. The one people talk about is a place called Karg Island. Now that's in the north of the Persian Gulf, and it's where there's a huge Iranian oil gas facility. If the Americans were to do this, Donald Trump has said it would be very easy. I don't think many people agree with him on that. It would involve...
You hear that? He said it was going to be very easy. This is what I'm saying. Listen, a man that never served a day in the military, and I can say that because I have. Army. Yes, I have. That never served a day in the military don't know what easy is.
Forces either coming in by parachute, on boat, or maybe by helicopter, and trying to take this island in the face of what would be undoubtedly stiff Iranian resistance. There are hundreds of thousands of Iranian forces, some of them very well trained. We don't know how many are there, but they will have forces. So even if the Americans do take this, what do they do next? Now, they're suggesting it would put pressure on the Iranian regime, but there is another alternative, that the Iranians can attack the island back. It would be within range of artillery, of drones, of short-range missiles. And there could be a situation where American forces have landed on what's a relatively small island and suddenly come under sustained fire. Now, if you imagine if they took heavy casualties, there's going to be huge public outcry in the US and who...
That part, heavy casualties in an outcry. Oh, we gonna be mad.
knows how President Trump would react. If they can hold it, though, there's going to be outrage in Iran. And I think a lot of people see this as whatever happens, this could be an escalatory move. It could take this conflict into new and dangerous areas.
There are growing signs the Trump administration could use ground troops in the war with Iran, perhaps to reopen the Strait of Hormuz or even to seize Iranian islands.
But how realistic would such an operation be, and how likely is it that it would work?
It would not be easy. It would be
Pay attention. I told you guys, this is serious. This is damn near mission impossible.
major military operation, but the United States has the pieces in place to do it.
If I were in Vegas and I were betting, I would say it's most likely that we will see some kind of amphibious operation once the appropriate combat power has been marshaled in the area.
The US has now ordered at least 5,000 more troops towards the Middle East. The USS Tripoli and another warship are carrying around 3,500 sailors and Marines from the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit. A second Marine Expeditionary Unit, led by the USS Boxer, with another 2,000 Marines, is now also sailing from San Diego. At least 1,500 more troops from the 82nd Airborne Division are also now deploying. The Pentagon says the first Marine Expeditionary Unit has now arrived. One possibility is the US might attempt to seize Karg Island, through which Iran exports 90% of its oil.
We did Iwo Jima.
Diamond Gang, this is something else. Let's go.
We can do this. I don't know if you take the island or you blockade the island, but I know this. The day we control that island, this regime, this terrorist regime, has been weakened. It will die on a vine.
If the Marines can get there, I think seizing it would be relatively easy. The problem is getting there, because any Marine unit would have to transit the straits and then go up the Persian Gulf with the Iranians shooting at them the whole time. There's a lot of risk in that.
The US could
that part, major risk.
Also attempt to seize islands.
Not only that, they've put mines all around Karg Island
In the Strait of Hormuz as part of an operation to reopen it. But the real danger could begin after the US manages to take the islands. Its troops would risk being isolated and picked off by Iranian drone and artillery fire from the coast.
Iranian drones. Remember, Russia's helping them.
It will also likely mean the war goes on far longer.
What we also hear from experts here in the Gulf is that people are overly fixated on the Strait of Hormuz. They say that even if the strait is reopened,
If this is the game plan, we're going to be over there for a long time.
if Iran is still able to hit oil and gas facilities here with missiles and drones, they won't be able to operate, and that will mean that the energy crisis goes on.
Seizing these islands in the Strait, while it will strengthen our hand and leverage in negotiations, will not be enough to make them capitulate. One of the things we've seen throughout this campaign is that battlefield success and military accomplishment does not always translate readily into a strategic victory or achieving our political goals.
Just 1 month in.
All right, let's hear what Pete Hegseth got to say. Diamond Gang, let's hear it.
Only 1 month. We set the terms. The upcoming days will be decisive. Iran knows that.
Now, remember, he's saying this today as Trump's, is lashing out at our allies and also thinking of just ending it all. So this is what he's saying.
And there's almost nothing they can militarily do about it. Yes, they will still shoot some missiles, but we will shoot them down. Of note,
I don't care. He acts like he's playing a video game, and I just don't like it. I don't.
the last 24 hours saw the lowest number of enemy missiles and drones fired by Iran. They will go underground, but we will find them. We recently destroyed another one of their command bunkers. Leaders forced to flee. No water, no power, no oxygen, no command and control. Their faith in their caves diminishing. The latest intel is clear out of CENTCOM. Our strikes are damaging the morale of the Iran.
Yeah, he is. He's not thinking, Robert. He's a lot of them. He actually got kicked out of the military. A lot of them are not qualified to be in the positions that they are in. So that's crazy too.
Iranian military, leading to widespread desertions, key personnel shortages, and causing frustrations amongst senior leaders. But if Iran is wise, they will cut a deal. President Trump doesn't bluff, and he does not back down.
President Trump don't bluff and don't back down. He was today. And this is what I'm saying about the mixed messages. Trump was us. I'm going to say it again. He gave us a message saying that he was talking to someone on the inside and saying that he was thinking about just ending this. I'm sorry. But he did outright, told our allies, go get your oil yourself. We're not doing it. We won't be there. That's what he said. The U.S. won't be there.
You can ask Khomeini about that. The new Iranian regime should know that by now. This new regime, because regime change has occurred, should be wiser than the last. President Trump will make a deal.
This is what's crazy. They said that, but they're not even talking to anyone directly over there. They're passing notes through Pakistan with the help of Pakistan.
Is willing. And the terms of the deal are known to them. If Iran is not willing, then the United States War Department will.
Diamond Gang, they said no days ago. What are they talking about?
Will continue with even more intensity.
We have some major news right now. Donald Trump is privately telling aides that he's willing to end the war in Iran sooner rather than later, even if the Strait of Hormuz remains closed.
Did y'all hear that? One more time. Diamond Gang. One more time. Let's go.
Desertions, key personnel shortages, and causing frustrations amongst senior leaders. But if Iran is wise, they will cut a deal. President Trump doesn't bluff, and he does not back down. You can ask Khomeini about that. The new Iranian regime should know that by now. This new regime, because regime change has occurred, should be wiser than the last.
Rob, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. And that's okay. Whoever, you can have opposing opinions, but just like my moderator said, keep it respectful, please.
President Trump will make a deal he is willing, and the terms of the deal are known to them. If Iran is not willing, then the United States War Department will continue with even more intensity.
We have some major news right now. Donald Trump is privately telling aides that he's willing to end the war in Iran sooner rather than later, even if the Strait of Hormuz remains closed. That's a stunning admission. According to the Wall Street Journal, he's privately...
Diamond Gang, how do y'all feel about that admission? Huh? How do you guys feel about that admission right there? If you cool with him walking away, put a 1 in the chat. If you think we should stay, put a 2 in the chat. Do that for me, Diamond Gang.
accepting that the United States can't reopen the Strait of Hormuz, even if it were to bomb Iran's power plants and desalination plants and all the civilian infrastructure. At the end of the day, it would take weeks. It would be a highly complex, highly difficult maneuver in an effort to try to reopen the strait. And so Trump is kind of waving the white flag subtly and admitting that the war may have to come to an end. And he says that he may save the reopening of the strait, that operation, for a later day.
Now that sounds crazy. He's going to save it for a later day. It's true. It's true. It's true. Trust me. We're going to hear it again.
A pretty significant development behind the scenes. It looks as though the president is feeling the pressure from Americans and even in those near him over what this war has become and what this war could very well continue.
Let me tell you something. The Republicans are literally, there are a lot of them that are against what's going on. There are fractures within the Republican Party right now. I'm just saying.
To become if boots are eventually put on the ground to reopen the strait. Follow for more.
Is Donald Trump well? Is his head in
this part? A lot of people believes his mental fitness is not up to par. Let's go.
in the presidency? Does he have the mental acuity to lead this country? More people are starting to doubt that, beyond, of course, Democrats who have always doubted it. This is being borne out in two new polls. The first one from the Washington Post, ABC, and Ipsos, which finds a number of people who think he lacks the mental sharpness to serve effectively, is now climbing 56%. And
listen, Diamond Gang, he's in meetings, he's making up stories, he's doing a lot of things, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what's going on.
the second from Reuters and Ipsos, which shows 6 in 10 Americans now say President Trump is becoming more erratic as he ages. That includes a growing number of Democrats, independents, and Republicans. Why is that? Well, the apparent sleeping during cabinet.
You said I doubt Trump could lead a horse.
Meetings and Oval Office visits, probably they're not helping.
You're right. He has no respect for anyone. Let's go. I can't wait to get to y'all comments. Ugh.
Neither are the stories about how he's forcing his top aides to wear his preferred brand of shoes and buying them in incorrect sizes that he's guessed they wear. He also doesn't sound as energetic and clear as he did even a few years ago, comparatively speaking, of course. Case in point, the wild asides mid-thought. He has always done that to a degree, but now he's doing it in the middle of White House cabinet meetings, largely defined by deadly serious issues like the war in Iran or alleged political prosecutions.
I had no idea that Trump was 80 years old. That's crazy.
Listen to this one. When the president took a sharp left turn during complaints about what he argues is criminally wasteful spending for construction at the Federal Reserve.
So this pen is very inexpensive, but it writes well. I like it. But I can't have the pen the way it was. You know what it is. I don't want to give too much publicity, but.
Sorry, y'all, but I'm not going to lie. I got a heart and I got compassion. I don't rock with Trump, but right here, I feel bad for him.
They do treat me well, Sharpie. So I came here, they have $1,000 pens. Beautiful pen, ballpoint. 1,000, it was gold, silver, gorgeous. But I'm handing out to kids that don't even know what they're doing. What is this, Mommy? And it had another problem. They didn't write well. There's no ink in the pen, and it costs $1,000. This one, I called the guy. I said, I'd like to use your pen, but I can't have a gray thing with a big S on it. He said, I'll paint it black. I said, that's nice. And I can even paint the White House on it, sir, if you like, in gold.
All right. The thing is, the company that makes Sharpies told the Washington Post the conversation the president said he had with the head of Sharpie about those pens never happened, which means if
Diamond Gang, what the hell is going on? This is crazy, and he's leading our country.
sure he made it up and interrupted a cabinet meeting to tell a story he fabricated or hallucinated about his favorite pen. While a lot of this has always just been part of who Donald Trump is, a man who works the room, seeks attention, seeks applause, he's now about to be 80 years old, and he's launched a war that he does not seem to have a plan for.
Well, this is the second time I've called.
Now, Diamond Gang, this is the guy that he was on the phone with, Ed Luce, okay? Having a conversation, asking him, should he take Karg Island? Should he take Karg Island? Let's take a look, Diamond Gang.
Him and he's picked up on first ring, both times, interestingly, late Sunday afternoon, and he's been apparently wandering around Mar-a-Lago with his cell phone, and picked up and was happy to chat. Kind of a little bit unnerving, shoot the breeze about, look, should we take the oil? Should we grab Karg Island? And I said, well, that's not really for me.
Let me stop this. Diamond Gang, could y'all please get me to 100 likes? I'm 60 likes away, and I got more than 60 people in here. Please hit the like for your girl.
To say, Mr. President, what do you think? What are you planning to do? You have to sort of pinch yourself that this is the commander-in-chief of the world's, superpower, because his thoughts are all over the place. So he wants to take Iran's oil, whatever that means. I said, would that mean taking Karg Island, which is the island 15 miles off the Iranian coastline, where 90% of Iranian oil exports go, because it's got deep ports. And he said, yeah, we could take Karg Island, and we could not take Karg Island, but it doesn't have too many defenses. So we'd be happy to.
Diamond Gang, this is casual conversation with someone he knows. This is crazy.
Do that. I did ask him about the fact that you've got Army Rangers, Delta Forces, 82nd Airborne Marines. You've got these kinds of commando capabilities being moved to the region. Are you planning to use them? And he wouldn't give specifics, but he seemed pretty confident that Karg Island could easily be taken, which is not necessarily the expert view on what would be a boots on the ground operation. But at the same time, he said that the negotiations between the US and Iran via emissaries, chiefly Pakistan.
Bingo, Pakistan, I told y'all.
Were going ahead, and that he was confident there could be a deal. So, I mean, this wasn't an entirely consistent theme. He said, we're talking every day, constantly to Iran. I said, has Steve Witkoff spoken?
They don't trust Witkoff.
Directly to people of the Iranian government? And he kind of sidestepped the question and used the term emissaries. My overall takeaway is that right now, Trump's got nothing new to get him out of this war or to win it. There are speculations about possible commando raids into Isfahan to seize the enriched uranium, but these would be extremely dangerous operations that would take days, possibly weeks, to secure this highly fissile material.
Diamond Gang, did you hear that? And here's the thing, and I'm going to say this, and I said this a million times. Before we decided to do this mission, this war, they were in the 6th round of negotiations, and Iran said that they would dilute that uranium and either sell it as something else, do something else with it. But for some reason, and they said that the negotiations were going well, us and Israel decided to bomb them. So this wouldn't even be happening, this risky plan to get the uranium, had we still been negotiating. You don't get to 6 rounds of negotiations for nothing. You don't. So something was going well.
And would involve undoubted American bloodshed. So that's what, you know, you'd call a Hail Mary option in American football. But in terms of an actual plan to end the war, I didn't finish this call feeling very confident that Trump had one.
Actually have on the phone Ed Luce from Financial Times, a friend of ours, friend of the show.
Now, he's had a conversation with Trump as well, and we're going to go over that phone call.
And Ed, I understand you spoke with the president yesterday. Tell us about the conversation.
Well, good morning, Joe. Yes, it was the second that I'd had with him. It really just cold calling him, you know, as one does.
Oh, sorry.
And
let me apologize. That's the same guy, Joe. Sorry. Diamond Gang, please, please, please hit that like, hit that like, hit that like. If you would like to support the channel with the super chat, super sticker, I appreciate any forms of payment. My Cash App, thank you. But I would really just like a like.
he was toggling between what I call the Armageddon taco shuffle, in that he was, you know, talking about taking Iran's oil and how easy it would be to seize Karg Island, referring to the Venezuela model of regime change by taking out the head, but doing business, including
Thank you for hitting a like. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
oil business with the remains of it. But then shifting to saying that he was having great talks with the Iranian regime. And I did sort of press him to say, who was this? Steve Witkoff talking to Arabshi, or was this your son-in-law, Jared Kushner, talking?
Kushner and Witkoff, they definitely, nobody trusts them. Nobody.
To Galibas, the speaker, or who was talking to who, and it turned out it's really all indirect.
Thank you, Melanated, for the gift. Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you.
It's Pakistan as a messenger, really, or an emissary was the word he used. So, sort of switching from saying it's going great to maybe we'll take their oil.
Did the president sound confident in the execution of this war? Did he sound confident in the direction it was going? Or did he at any time seem irritated or angry about?
Dawn, I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thank you so, so much. This is what I'm saying. I take my time and I put these clips together to tell a story. It may not be the story someone to hear, but guess what? You could sound off in the chat. You could also hit my link, and all opinions will be respected. You just can't be disrespectful here. You could say whatever you want. I love Trump. It's going to stay in the chat. My mods know. This is free to say whatever you want. You just can't curse or just be disrespectful.
About things related to the war.
He seemed less angry than the previous time I called him, which was a couple of weeks earlier, in which he'd...
Thank you, Robert. I appreciate you so much. Yes, I love my...
He'd really had quite a few choice words for NATO and for Britain in particular, allies not stepping up to the plate, essentially a stabbing us in the back sort of narrative. He didn't talk about that this time. I guess he doesn't expect.
Here's the thing. His feelings is hurt that nobody is helping, but at the end of the day, you did not consult our allies, and you didn't consult them for a reason, because you knew that they were going to try to talk you down or say, no, this is not the best way. Yeah, so it's you get what you get.
Any NATO assistance, because none is forthcoming. But I didn't sense anger. I sensed a little bit of sort of thrashing around for ideas, because it, you know, other than this stress on the indirect talks and these 20 ships that have been permitted to go through the strait, it didn't sound like he had a whole lot of ideas as to how to get out of this situation.
And trust me, he wants out of this situation. This is the worst. His ratings right now is sitting under a negative. And we're going to get into that too.
Donald Trump has finally confirmed who the person is in Iran that he's been negotiating with and making all this progress by speaking to. However, the guy that he named has repeatedly denied that any negotiations are taking place and even predicted last night that Trump would make up news this morning to influence the stock market. He told a reporter for the New York Post today that he's been negotiating with Iran's parliamentary speaker, saying we'll find out in about a week whether he's someone America can truly work with. But here's what this guy had to say yesterday. Heads up, market so-called news or truth is often just a setup for profit taking. Basically, it's a reverse indicator. Do the opposite. If they pump it, short it. If they don't.
Diamond Gang, and we clearly seen what they did last week with that insider trading, and they made millions. When he made the announcement that they had 48 hours, that whole circle, whoever was in that room that made that call, they made millions off of that.
Dump it, go long. See something tomorrow, you know the drill. And of course, his prediction was 100% correct. This morning, right before the stock market opened, Trump claimed to be talking to a new and more reasonable regime and making great progress. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman even reiterated today that they are rejecting the 15-point proposal, saying it's a set of very excessive, unrealistic, and irrational demands.
And I'm going to keep it real. The demands from Iran is out of control. Reparations, a toll booth, like,
Once again, Donald Trump and his entire administration have been caught red-handed, lying to the American people to influence the stock market. When will they be held accountable?
It looks like we are headed for a ground war. Is that your feeling as well?
Very much so. Whenever people tell you something is not true of Donald Trump, it's true. So when the people around him are insisting Donald Trump never bluffs, it's important to understand Donald Trump always bluffs. He's always trying to buy things without cash.
Diamond Gang, he's been doing this all his damn life.
He's always trying to get things done without the votes. He's always trying to do things illegally. His plan seemed to be, I get away with everything. Venezuela was cheap and easy. This will be cheap and easy. Whack them from the air, watch them give in, take the victory parade, name something after yourself. In this case, he's dealing with really fanatical people. Horrible people, murderous people. And now he's in a situation where he's trying to bluff them into giving up. And so he keeps.
And that's why he extended it from 48 hours to 5 days and now 10 days. He's buying time to think of how he wants to handle this and how is he going to get us up out of this shit.
Escalating the rhetoric. He's brought Marines nearby. He's apparently sending another 10,000 troops. And he's going to trap himself in the bluff that was meant to work on others. He will find himself in a few weeks with the Strait of Hormuz still closed, oil prices high, the world economy in trouble, his numbers at home even worse than now. And he's not good at calculating things. As I often say about him, no one who's good at risk management goes bankrupt as often as Donald Trump.
Israel is announced.
Bingo. Y'all hear that? And Donald Trump's claimed bankruptcy multiple times. Let's go. Now we're getting ready to get into how Russia is helping Iran.
Announced that they will not be putting boots on the ground in Iran.
Israel announced they're not putting boots on the ground at all. Okay? Israel. They got us into this shit.
Murderous people. And now he's in a situation where he's trying to bluff them into giving up. And so he keeps escalating the rhetoric. He's brought Marines nearby. He's apparently sending another 10,000 troops. And he's going to trap himself in the bluff that was meant to work on others. He will find himself in a few weeks with the Strait of Hormuz still closed, oil prices high, the world economy in trouble, his numbers at home even worse than now. And he's not good at calculating things. As I often say about him, no one who's good at risk management goes bankrupt as often as Donald Trump.
Israel has announced that they will not be putting boots on the ground in Iran, but Americans will. Where will Israelis be putting boots on the ground? They are going to continue to murder civilians in Gaza, and they're.
Pay attention, Diamond Gang. Pay attention. BB got us in this. but they're not putting their people on the ground. They're not putting boots on the ground. I need y'all to hit the like. I need 38 more likes, please, and thank you.
Now taking over southern Lebanon. So the Israelis are expanding their own territory while they're letting Americans fight their battle against Iran. I can only imagine that it's because IDF troops, as good as they are at shooting civilians and blowing up residential neighborhoods, don't really want to take on the Iranian military.
How do y'all feel about that? How do you guys feel about what he just said? Israel is not putting boots on the ground, but we're fighting for them. Not okay.
Anybody sick of this shit yet?
Do you know if the Russians are supporting Iran with intelligence?
Yes, of course. Not only with intelligence. Not only with intelligence.
Pay attention. I'm going to show you guys just how just how Russia is supporting Iran. And he said, not just with intelligence. I need y'all to hit the like, please.
Of course, they share technologies already. They share some drones.
Do you think Russians are sharing missiles?
I don't know. I don't have facts. I'm sharing with you only what I know from my intelligence, and not only from me, from some partners. So, but they will share with them because Russia is interested in long war without result. The result, they have result each day. Money and the shifting focus of the United States on the Middle East from Ukraine. This is what they do.
President Zelensky
Did y'all hear that? All right, let's go.
of Ukraine has been in the Gulf in these past few days. And he said yesterday that Russia is providing satellite imagery to Iran. And that imagery consists of U.S. military.
But don't forget, Diamond Gang, we lifted the sanctions off of Russia. We did that. They making money on top of money on top of money. Let's go. While they support Iran to fight us.
Military bases. He also said Russia is giving signals intelligence and electronic intelligence to Iran. Do you know of evidence that Russia is actively helping Iran in its war against the United States?
Well, I have to be a little careful about this, Margaret, because I do review the intelligence and I obviously can't speak about things that are classified. But boy, I would sure not argue with President Zelensky on that point. And I would ask the American people to think about, what do you think Putin is doing right now? Over 4 years, we have been rightly, in my estimation, helping the Ukrainians exact a terrible toll on the Russians. So what do you think is happening? Meanwhile, as you know, we are letting the Iranians, so now the Iranians are getting billions of dollars, sell their oil to the Chinese so that they can buy drones from the Russians. We're letting the Russians sell.
So again, right? They said we obliterated everything. Again, Diamond Gang, what have we accomplished? What have we accomplished? If they are getting help and they are getting all of this stuff from Russia, what have we accomplished over there? No regime change and still no uranium. Let's go.
Oil so that they can get dollars to attack the Ukrainians and use those dollars to help attack our troops. I mean, you just couldn't make this stuff up in a Hollywood script.
We've had some signaling that the U.S. will retake control of this.
Now they're going to ask the Pentagon about Russia. And Peter's going to say he know what they doing. Yeah, he does. He does. He knows.
Strait of Hormuz. At that point, what military posture will be imposed to guarantee safe passage for our allies, deter our enemies, and demonstrate U.S. dominance in the region? And also, can you speak to how much America's adversaries, Russia, China, North Korea, how much they're supporting Iran's war machine at this point with arms and intelligence, and what we are militarily doing to punish the enemy coalition?
Appreciate both questions. On the Strait of Hormuz, there are many more vessels flowing through today than there were, as the president has arranged. The president's been clear to.
Diamond Gang, please hit the like. I had to watch this dude today, and he makes me sick to my stomach. But I had to do it for my diamond gang. Please hit the like. I can't take this dude. Ugh.
Iran, open it for business, or we have options, and we certainly do. And when you look at what the chairman laid out with the Navy industrial base, with coastal cruise missiles, with UAVs, with counter mine capabilities, we've been focused from the beginning on attritting and defeating those capabilities and limiting their options. There's lots we're doing as well, some of which is known, some of which is not known, to set the conditions.
Diamond gang, remember I showed you a clip, what was that, 2 days ago, of Trump saying he loved to hang out with losers. That's how I feel about this guy.
And I think the president was clear this morning in his truth that there are countries around the world who ought to be prepared to step up on this critical waterway as well. It's not just the United States Navy. Last time I checked, there was supposed to be a big bad Royal Navy that could be prepared to do things like that as well. So he's pointing out this is an international waterway that we use less than most, in fact, dramatically less than most. So the world ought to pay attention to.
That's why he should have consulted our allies and let them know that exactly what he was going to do, so that they would have known who was going to do what, who was going to help, and who wasn't. But nope, we just went in like we was the big bad wolf.
Be prepared to stand up. President Trump's been willing to do the heavy lifting on behalf of the free world to address this threat of Iran. It's not just our problem set going forward, even though we have done the lion's share of preparation to ensure that that strait will be open, which is an outcome the president's been very clear on. As far as Russia and China, we know exactly what they're doing, what they are or are not doing. We don't have to air.
Y'all hear him? He said they know what they doing. Let me give 15 more likes. Come on, y'all. Come on, get me to 100 likes.
Publicly what all of that is, but where necessary, we're addressing it, we're mitigating it. And
how are we addressing it when we just lifted the sanctions off of Russia? Give me a break. Give me a break.
Or we're confronting it head on. I don't know if you have anything you want to add.
No, sir. I think you covered it.
In a new post on Truth Social, right before the stock market opened up, Donald Trump claimed we already achieved regime change in Iran and great progress has been made. But according to Iran's foreign minister and their military spokesperson, this is not true. He said we're in serious discussions with a new and more reasonable regime to end our military operations in Iran. Great progress has been made, but if for any reason a deal is not shortly reached and the Strait of Hormuz isn't opened back up, we will conclude.
And again, Diamond Gang, for anybody that's just coming in, this is not true. They are speaking to Pakistan and they're sending notes. The new regime they're not nice guys at all.
Our lovely stay in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all of their electric generating plants, oil wells, and Karg Island. He even mentions all desalination plants. This would affect millions of innocent people in Gulf states.
Which is a war crime. That is a war crime.
Here's what Iran's foreign minister had to say 2 days ago after Israel struck nuclear sites. These attacks contradict Trump's extended deadline for diplomacy. Iran will extract heavy price for Israeli crimes. And not even a day ago, he referred to the United States as Israel's partner in crime. He acknowledges we're targeting Iran's scientists, nuclear sites, and universities, then says, reality check, your actions ooze of desperation and only inspire more pursuit of knowledge. He's literally saying they're more emboldened than ever before to rush to build a nuclear bomb to defend themselves from the United States.
That part. So, do you think that they're going to be over there with all that uranium and not use it if need be? They will. They will.
States and Israel. That doesn't sound like great progress being made to me.
We have some news this morning. Donald Trump woke up and is threatening to bomb desalination plants, power plants, and other civilian infrastructure in Iran in one of the most significant threats to date. His latest Truth Social post talks about ongoing negotiations between the United States and Iran. He says if a deal is not made, then he'll obliterate all electricity generating plants, oil.
So again, Diamond Gang, that contradicts what he's saying, that they're negotiating with nice people. If you have to wake up in the morning and threaten to do illegal war crimes to try as a scare tactic, you're not having talks. Make it make sense.
wells, Karg Island, and possibly all desalination plants. Desalination plants provide water to the people of Iran and the people of the Middle East. Destroying desalination plants would lead to mass casualties and would be the definition of a war crime because you're targeting civilian infrastructure. At the same time, Spain this morning, according to the Associated Press, has announced that it will be banning all U.S. military aircraft.
Y'all hear that? Spain said y'all can't use our aircraft sites and none of that. It's over.
It's airspace that is being used in the war in Iran. And it comes as now Iran is saying that it may start to target the homes of U.S. and Israeli officials in the Gulf, in the Middle East, both military and political officials. That would be in retaliation to the fact that the United States and Israel struck and killed a number of Iranian military commanders and political leaders. I'll have more updates for you soon. Spread the word. Follow for more.
So Diamond Gang, again, this is getting serious. Come on, y'all. I got 78 likes. Come on, y'all. Just get me to 100 likes. Get me to 100 likes. Let's go.
Trump said last night that he thought that there will be a deal with Iran here very soon, and the stock market reacted. The Dow went up around 300.
You see how he's manipulating the stock market doing this? This is crazy.
Points. The first positive day in a week. And now he's saying even crazier things. Check this out. He posted on Truth Social this morning saying the United States of America is in serious discussions with a new and more reasonable regime to end our military operations in Iran. Guys, this is him continuing to push this false story that things are going well with negotiations when Iran says they are not talking to the United States. He says great progress has been made, but if for any reason a deal is not reached shortly, which it probably will be, and if the Strait of Hormuz is not immediately open for business, we will conclude our lovely stay in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all of their electric generating plants.
How do y'all feel about Trump just out and out just keep lying? This is insane. Dude, I know plenty of presidents lie. They lie all the time, but not like this.
Oil wells and Karg Island and possibly all desalination plants. Guys, that's a war crime right there. And he says, which we have purposely not yet touched because it's a war crime.
Who would negotiate with Trump? Meek. There's no proof of what? There's no proof of what? Danny, please put it in the chat. Please put it in the chat.
Will be in retribution for our many soldiers and others that Iran has butchered and killed over the regime's 47-year reign of terror. Guys, this is very serious, and if he moves to do any of this, the electric generating plants, they have a nuclear power plant. He's making another nuclear threat. And all of this comes as Republicans in Congress are considering trying to take away.
Get ready. The Democrats is on their way in. I'm just saying, they're on their way in.
Funding for health care to fund this war in Iran, signaling again, opposite of what Trump is saying here, that they are planning for this operation to continue for quite some time. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Like, share, spread the word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
Donald Trump just admitted to the Financial Times that his favorite thing is to take the oil in Iran, saying our troops might need to be there for a while to achieve his goals. Take a look. Here's a summary of everything he said. To be honest with you, my favorite thing is to take the oil in Iran, specifically considering taking Karg Island.
He thought he was going to go in like he did Venezuela and take the oil. Not happening.
Iran's main oil export. He compares it to Venezuela, saying the United States could control oil there indefinitely. He claims Iran has no real defense there by saying, I don't think they have any defense. We could take it very easily, and acknowledges it would require occupation, saying it would also mean we had to be there for a while. He also, once again, falsely claimed regime change has already happened and described the new leadership as a totally different group of people, very professional. Of course, we know Iran's regime has not fallen, and it's unlikely to fall even if we do a full-scale ground invasion. Iran has also said they can't trust us, meaning they're much less likely to negotiate with us anytime soon. But Donald Trump confirmed what all of us knew already. This is nothing more than an oil war. Our troops' lives are being put at risk.
Bingo. Bingo. That right there, an oil war.
So Donald Trump and his oil executive buddies can make money.
Trump is back to threatening war crimes in order to try to get compliance for opening the Strait of Hormuz. What you need to understand, however,
Now, Diamond Gang, don't get me wrong. What they're doing is wrong. Charging $2 million, bullying, and just acting like gangsters over there. They're committing crimes as well.
like I've explained before, this violates the Geneva Convention blatantly. All right. There's no dual use facility here that's providing power to a tank plant or like a missile factory and also civilian neighborhoods. It is simply that they're taking unrelated power plants that have nothing to do with the Strait of Hormuz as a means to coerce and punish the civilian population collectively to try to get a political outcome they want. And here it's even worse because look, he admits it. He says, we have not done that. This will be retribution for our many soldiers and others Iran has attacked in the past. So that's his intent. If your intent is stated as retribution, your intent.
They got to take his phone, his laptop, whatever. They need to take it off of him.
Intent is not military. That is a crime. That is wrong. We are the terrorists now, period. Okay? 18 U.S.C. 2331. Look it up. Using unlawful force, which this is, especially military force.
Diamond Gang, Trump is going to go down in history for this shit.
To try to compel a political outcome or for them to do something that you want. That's what Al-Qaeda did. That's what Islamic Jihad did. That's what everybody has done that we have labeled terrorist or designated terrorist since the beginning of time. That's where we're at. That's how you need to look at it. And that is exactly the truth. We have no moral standing in this world.
Well, today, Trump just casually threatened to commit a war crime when he posted, if the Hormuz Strait is not immediately open for business, we will conclude our lovely stay in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all of their electric generating plants,
Everybody's sick of Trump. Everybody.
oil wells, and Karg Island, and possibly all desalination plants, which we have purposely not yet touched. Yeah, because that would be a war crime. I'm Cody Harnish, UCMJ attorney. I'm a former JAG, prior Cav Scout. Now I only practice military law. Let's go straight to the rule. The DO.
I'm not saying that we can. However, because our president, Danny, is lying, it's hard not to believe Iran. It's hard not to believe him. You understand?
The Law of War Manual itself says it is therefore prohibited to attack, destroy, remove, or render useless for that purpose objects indispensable to the survival of the civilian population, such as drinking water and so.
Clarence, I'm gonna get into that as well. They did destroy, and that plane is millions and millions of dollars. Yeah.
That's paragraph 1792, which prohibits the starvation of civilians as a method of combat. And that's not ambiguous. That's the law. So what is a desalination plant? It literally turns seawater into drinking water. And in some regions, it's the only source of potable water there is. It's not a valid military target. And if you hit it, it'll deny civilians something they need to survive.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? This is what he was planning on doing.
That's something the good guys do not do. Now, could it ever be a valid military target? Sure. If the facility is making an effective contribution to military operations, for example, supplying water to military forces, it could become a lawful target, but that is not where the analysis ends. You still have to follow distinction, proportionality, and you cannot attack it for the purpose of denying civilians access to essential resources like drinking water. Trump threatened to hit all desalination plants. So let's be precise. If the intent or obvious predictable outcome,
he breaks it down. He is breaking it down,
is that civilians lose access to drinking water, you're committing a war crime. War has rules to protect civilians, and targeting water is not a gray area. It's one of the.
Hegseth said all the rules is out the door when they started this. He said he wasn't following the law, no rules, no nothing.
Clearest red lines in the law of armed conflict. Like, share, comment, or follow for more information on military law. And in the meantime, I'm going to be right here defending America's defenders.
President Trump says he wants to take Iran's oil and could seize its main fuel hub, Karg Island. The US and Israel continue to hit targets across Iran, while Iran and
Diamond Gang, we're getting ready to get into how dangerous. I'm going to show you how dangerous it is.
Hezbollah have fired more missiles and rockets at Israel, setting an oil refinery on fire at Haifa. In Kuwait, Iranian attacks killed a worker at a power and desalination plant and injured 10 military personnel. And a UN peacekeeper has been killed in southern Lebanon, where Israel is expanding what it calls its security buffer zone. But the US president insists talks with Iran are going well.
We're doing extremely well in that negotiation, but you never know with Iran because we negotiate
He's not even talking to them, but let's go.
with them and then we always have to blow them up.
These people are lunatics. They are insane. They are religious zealots who can never be allowed to possess a nuclear weapon because they have an apocalyptic vision of the future.
Marco, if you see this, I got a question. Are you talking about Iran or are you talking about Trump and the GOP? Me? I can't tell the difference. Is Trump woo, 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 and does he have an apocalyptic vision of the future? You bet. Look what he's doing under this ballroom that he's building, putting in some elaborate bunker facility like he's preparing for the next
I had no idea that he was doing this, Diamond Gang.
Armageddon. And talk about woo, woo, woo. Look at where we are in Iran. Trump's biggest mistake with Iran was going in for no good reason because he thought he could repeat what he did in Venezuela. Depose the leader, replace him with...
Who in the chat think that they went in for a good reason? Please, just let me know. Who in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if you think that we are over there with valid reasons and good reasons. Put a 2 if you think that we should have never even went over there.
Someone who would negotiate with him so he could steal more oil. Guess what? Iran is not Venezuela. Iran has been preparing for this war for decades. And they have, forgive the pun,
For decades, Diamond Gang.
a trump card, the Strait of Hormuz. They control a choke point for 20% of the world's oil. And if they want to, they can cause a worldwide recession. That's a big trump card. Trump's...
We on our way. We on our way there, y'all. Let me get, come on, y'all, 15 more likes.
second mistake was not ending this war quickly. He could have done what he did in the beginning, knocked off the Ayatollah, bombed the hell out of Iran for a week, and declared victory, walked away. But he's stuck around, which means the goals as to what constitutes victory, they get increased. The goalposts just naturally get moved. And now victory means capturing all of Iran's fuel, making sure that the Strait of Hormuz is open for good. Both are impossible goals. How
Both are impossible goals. That's where I'm at with it.
can Trump declare victory now? He can't. And this is how forever wars take place. When you set
Bingo. I told y'all, forever wars. That's where we at. I'm telling you guys, we have no exit strategy.
unrealistic goals for yourself and you don't let go, Trump could bring in troops, escalate. But, that'll bring us close to World War III. I hope he doesn't do that. I think this war will end quickly because the world is dependent on oil. It's getting squeezed. A couple weeks to a month longer, and the world will go into a global recession. Is
Get ready. Spin wisely. Spin wisely. We're headed there.
Trump woo enough to cause a worldwide recession? I hope not. The alternative is Trump declares a hollow victory in the next week or two.
Remember, he said that this morning. He may just walk away. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
And despite a diplomatic scramble on the Iran war, the fighting has entered a dangerous new phase, with infrastructure sites the latest front. In Israel, an oil refinery and a chemical plant were hit. In Kuwait, a water treatment plant was attacked. In Iran, a nuclear heavy water facility was struck as Israel promises to expand infrastructure attacks. This morning, President Trump doubled down on a similar threat, saying if the Strait of Hormuz isn't opened, the U.S. will destroy Iran's electricity plants, oil wells, and desalination.
10 more likes. Come on, Diamond Gang. We getting ready to get into Iran. Their thoughts and their military. I'm going to break it down.
Plants. Such a campaign would likely cause a humanitarian crisis. The president's latest deadline for that is a week away, and now giving weight to his threat, the U.S. has amassed some 50,000 troops in the region. The Washington Post.
We need more than that over there. Seriously.
Reporting the Pentagon is looking at a weeks-long ground operation. And the Wall Street Journal, which spoke to multiple officials, reports that Trump is weighing a risky uranium extraction operation. In Zaman, after suggesting Iran was playing ball, now President Trump is threatening specific infrastructure sites. He also claims the U.S. is negotiating with a new regime. Who is he referring to, and where do the talks stand?
Well, look, it's difficult to give an answer to exactly who the U.S. is talking directly to. President Trump said it was a new and more reasonable regime inside Iran that the U.S. is having discussions with, but there is no clear sign of exactly who that is, and in fact, whether those conversations are taking place. Secretary Rubio this morning also saying in an interview that he couldn't declare who those people are because of sensitivities. My take is that it could potentially be the parliamentary leader inside Iran, Mohammad Ghalibaf. This is someone who...
Diamond Gang, that's a new name. That's a new name.
Who has directed a lot of his anger and hatred, particularly towards Israel, using social media, not as much to the US. And that may give an indication that he could be someone who is having these conversations.
So he has more hatred towards Israel and not US, which would make sense if Trump is saying that they're having peaceful talks. So I'm praying that he's telling the truth on this one, Diamond Gang.
But what we do know is that the US and Iran have been talking via Pakistan. We know the US passed on this 15-point peace plan last week, and Iran did respond via Pakistan as well. But there doesn't seem to be conversations directly happening.
We have some big news right now. Donald Trump is having a really rough morning on multiple fronts. He is lashing out on Truth Social as we speak after...
Here he go, crashing out, the crash out, the crash out. He wants this to be over, y'all.
We learned that CNN has reported that Donald Trump's approval rating currently at -17 is the lowest of any president in American history at this point in their presidency. And so what is he doing? He's lashing out. He's lashing out at countries across the world who he says haven't helped the United States and Iran, telling them, go get your own oil. Go to the Strait of Hormuz and do it yourself because the United States won't be there.
He sounds like a big kid. Can I get 11 more likes, y'all? Please. I need 11 more likes. Get me to 100 likes.
Lashing out at a country like France because France allegedly wouldn't let...
What up, Mr. Bill? Nope, I ain't see it. What's good? What's good? Get me to my likes. Get me to 11 likes, y'all. Come on.
Planes headed to Israel, loaded up with military supplies, fly over French territory, saying that France has been very unhelpful with respect to Iran and the butcher of Iran. He's referring to the Ayatollah who has passed away, who the United States and Israel killed in airstrikes. He's not having a fun morning right now. I will have more updates for you very soon. As always, spread the word and follow along for all the news you need to know about.
President Trump has just released a new statement about the Strait of Hormuz. On Truth Social, he said, quote, all of those countries...
We're about to get into how dangerous it is. Thank you. We need 10 more likes.
...that can't get jet fuel because of the Strait of Hormuz, like the United Kingdom, which refused to get involved in the decapitation of Iran. I have a suggestion for you. The president goes on to say, number one, buy from the U.S. We have plenty. And number two, build up some delayed courage, go to the Strait and just take it.
This dude said, build up some courage and take it. This is insane.
You'll have to start learning how to fight for yourself. The USA won't be there to help you anymore. Just like you weren't.
That is insane, y'all. That is insane.
There for us. The president goes on to say, Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done. Go get your own oil. Again, those comments by President Trump come as reports indicate the president is preparing for the possibility of ground operations in Iran. There are thousands of additional U.S. forces now in the region, including sailors and Marines and special forces that could be used if
that part, he's been clearance. He's been bullying them this entire time with the sanctions and everything and thought that they were going to help. Oh, God, help him, please,
The
Lord.
president decides to conduct some sort of operation against Iranian oil facilities like those at Karg Island. More updates to follow throughout the day on Fox.
A lot of focus on whether or not ground forces are going to enter Iran. I mean, obviously, Iran's got, I don't know, maybe you've got a better number than me, but the numbers I'm seeing, somewhere in the region of 600,000 active duty personnel. And I'm wondering whether, with the sorts of numbers that we're reading about being deployed to the region and possibly entering Iran on the ground.
Thanks, Boo. Thanks, Meek. Diamond Gang, if you would like to support the channel, my Cash App is right in the chat. Shayla Ray Diggs is $, $sign Shayla Ray Diggs. Or you could support the channel with a super chat super sticker. But you can also hit the like. I need 6 more.
What sort of a response would they be met with, and what sort of a chance would they stand of making a meaningful difference?
Well, I think what we have to bear in mind in military terms is the relative power where the impact is being felt. So if, for example, the Americans chose to control the Straits of Hormuz, there's any number of places they could land and could also defend that area. They can either land on the islands, Abu Musa and the Greater and Lesser Tum, but I wouldn't recommend that because you simply become targets with very little strategic impact. They could land on the...
But remember too, Diamond Gang, I told y'all the other day, the Yemen's entered and they're thinking about closing part of the Red Sea, which, you know, that's another way, you know, so.
northern side of the Straits of Hormuz and control the traffic themselves, because of the Musandam Peninsula in the south, being Omani, of course, and UAE to the south. That gives you quite a bit of control already. If they were to hold, for example, a piece of the Iranian mainland opposite there, it's very difficult to access that part. If you look at the geography, it's backed by mountains. There's one real sort of coastal road. It'd be very difficult to deploy 600,000 troops in any sort of order to oppose that. And of course, they would have the challenge.
Yeah, Clarence, is definitely a cluster. You know what? Yeah.
Of facing not only the might of the American Navy, but also the Air Force as well. And we saw in Iraq that ground troops unsupported by aviation or indeed heavy missile attack, I'm afraid, are not going to survive. So I think force ratios are quite important in terms of ground troops, but I think the amount of available fighting power that can be put into any particular part is really important. I think if the Americans accompany that sort of ground assault with the idea of liberating Iran from the current regime, I think that might pick up speed politically as well.
What would it take for the U.S. and Israel to seize what's left of Iran's enrichment?
Let's go. After this, we're going to get into the Russians' thoughts, and then I'll end it with Trump's poll ratings, and then I'll go to the chat.
Enriched uranium. Planning is taking place that sounds like it is out of a movie. I'm Laura Taglianetti for Mo News with what that operation would actually look like. Remember that the U.S. and Israel claim to have destroyed most of Iran's nuclear program over the last year. However, significant parts of the country's 450 kilogram stockpile of uranium enriched to near weapons grade is buried deep under some of the bombed out facilities.
That part. So can you imagine a mission going over there to get that uranium that's supposedly buried under the rebel? It may not even be there. They had more than enough time to get it out. Thanks for the likes. I'm at 102. I love y'all.
The U.S. is now demanding that Iran turn it all over as part of a deal to end the war. Iran currently says no. So that has the U.S. and Israel drawing up military plans. And here is what that would involve. First, make sure the nuclear material is actually still in the underground tunnels at complexes like the one in Isfahan. And that isn't so easy. The U.S. dropped massive bunker buster bombs on the complex last year. Also, hours before last June's war, journalists saw Iranian trucks driving from tunnel openings, potentially moving materials. But say it is there. Then you need to assess what can...
Bingo. I told y'all it might not even be there. It may not be there.
Condition the material is in. The partially enriched uranium is stored in sealed metal canisters, which can easily be picked up and transported. But if they're carried too closely together, it could create a radioactive event that would be pretty devastating to anyone in the area. If any of the canisters were damaged, the gas inside of them is toxic to humans. So the tunnels would be flooded with hazardous gas. That means service members have to wear bulky hazmat suits to make sure that they're safe. And all of that is just inside of the tunnels. Once you get out with the canisters, you're now in the middle of the world's most active war zone with the.
This is why they should have stayed in negotiations and let the Iranians dilute that uranium.
Iranian regime's cheap drones swarming around the area waiting to bomb US targets and soldiers. And there would be a lot of soldiers. Retired Admiral James Stavridis, who used to run NATO, says that this type of mission could be the largest special forces operation in history. Plus, the planes you'd use to transport the nuclear material out of the country are enormous, slow-moving, and not exactly stealth. Bottom line, special forces would need to figure out where the material is, its condition, and then get it out safely, potentially under fire from Iranian drones and missiles. Sounds like the stuff of Mission Impossible.
Nobody asked
Bingo, I said that. Let's go.
us are you ready for?
Now, this is someone in Iran speaking about the U.S. war. Let's go.
For war? Are you ready for a change?
How do ordinary Iranians feel about what's happening in their country? We spoke by phone with a resident of Tehran, Iran's capital. We're protecting his identity because speaking frankly about the Iranian regime is dangerous.
I guess for a lot of Iranians, they must feel very powerless.
Yes, they are. I mean, the majority of the people.
What up, Mike?
I mean, I can say we are a powerless nation because we haven't been asked about what to do. But the majority, overwhelming majority of the people, they feel powerless. They feel they have no future, and they feel that they cannot decide even next day what to do.
He said that since US and Israeli airstrikes began, a third of Tehran's population has fled the city, while food prices have tripled. But he said that many Iranians who despise the regime have now given up hope that the war will help topple it.
Do you think that Israel and the US may have misjudged how determined the Iranian regime is to survive?
There is no stopping with them. Wait till I show y'all how this military operate.
Yes, that's true. It proved to be capable to survive for many days to come. They underestimated the Brinkman policy, brinkmanship, that they are ready at any cost to stay in power.
If the United States really wants to help the people of Iran, what should it do at this point?
First and foremost, stop the war and negotiate.
We are ready for the arrival of American soldiers. Right now, the Americans are attacking us from the air and then fleeing.
Real quick, Mike, you just got a wrench, and Mr. Bill, you just got a wrench. Handle y'all business. Let's go.
And we do not have access to them. We know how to access the Americans. If they come, it will be good and appropriate because...
Did y'all hear this? I'm telling you, they're waiting. They're waiting. They're waiting.
Yes, that's true. It proved to be capable to survive for many days to come. They underestimated the Brinkman policy, brinkmanship, that they are ready at any cost to stay in power.
If the United States really wants to help the people of Iran, what should it do at this point?
First and foremost, stop the war and negotiate.
We are ready for the arrival of American soldiers.
You hear this? They ready. They waiting.
Right now, the Americans are attacking us from the air and then fleeing. And we do not have access to them. We know how to access the Americans. If they come, it will be good and appropriate because then our war will become land-based and manly. In a land...
I showed y'all yesterday. They had women with assault rifles. They had kids as young as 12. They're allowed to participate in this war.
Or the Iranians are zealous. Iran will not allow its territory to be in the hands of anyone else. And the Americans will definitely cause many deaths.
Wait. You're saying you welcome? I'm hearing you say that you would almost welcome a U.S. invasion of Iran. Is that what you're saying?
This is what they're waiting on. This is what they've been planning for 47 years.
Saying?
Our answer is that if you want to enter Iran, it is no problem, but we will definitely fight you like men. We are not telling them to come. We are not looking to kill. But if someone invades our land and thinks that they can easily take Iran, they are mistaken. Iran is not a conquerable land, and American soldiers will definitely suffer a great calamity. And I do not know if they will be able to remove the bodies of American soldiers from the region.
That's terrible. This is terrible.
This decision is up to the Americans. Iran does not joke with anyone when it comes to land.
He said we had no direct negotiations. This is Iran's foreign minister. With America so far, no direct. Since the last round of negotiations until now, which was in June, the demands have been very excessive. It's excessive on both sides, gang. Unrealistic and illogical. The meetings that Pakistan has with neighboring countries are well a framework they themselves have established. So they're saying Pakistan is setting up their own framework. It's not us. We have not participated in this framework. Was the Strait of Hormuz ever closed before? February 28th. Iran has throughout all of these years and decades been the free guardian of the marine transit. In the Persian Gulf and the Straits of Hormuz. What the world faces now is the results. Of military exaggeration by the U.S. and the Zionist regime.
Will Iran's new supreme leader Mojtaba Khamenei direct his country to pursue a nuclear weapon? For more than 3 decades, Iran has insisted that its nuclear ambitions were peaceful.
Hit that like, Diamond Gang. We almost at the end. This next clip is going to blow your mind.
Its former supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, even issued a religious ruling, a fatwa, banning nuclear weapons altogether. But Khamenei was killed in U.S. and Israeli strikes last month, and with it,
Joe Kent talked about this, them banning nuclear weapons. Fatah, their religion.
Death, some believe that the biggest barrier to Iran pursuing building a nuclear weapon may be gone. A number of experts have even went as far as saying that the nuclear fatwa that Khamenei issued is effectively dead. After President Trump...
So what they're saying now, with the Ayatollah issue back then, no nuclear weapons due to the fatwa, whatever their religion is dead. It's no longer like now. They're saying we could do what we want. We could build them.
Trump, in his first term, withdrew from the nuclear agreement that the Obama administration had reached with Iran back in 2015. Iran began pushing its uranium enrichment ever closer to weapons grade. However, it stopped short from actually building a weapon. And even though Iran has still maintained that it's not seeking to build a nuclear weapon, that restraint has now come under pressure. Israel's attacks on Iran last year, followed by the US and Israeli strikes on Iran this year, have killed...
Yep, Chief, you're right. You're definitely right. They're fighting for their God, and we fight for freedom. You're right.
Some of the most senior figures in Iran, including military figures, nuclear scientists, and even Supreme Leader himself. And some Iran analysts believe that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC...
You're right on this one. Iranians are gentle and sober. They will not bend. Yeah.
Are consolidating further control over the country and appointing hardline figures. And there are calls among Iran's hardliners in parliament calling for the Islamic Republic to change its nuclear doctrine. Iran could also be in possession of more than 400 kilograms of highly enriched uranium. That's enough to build several bombs if Iran could actually enrich it and fashion it into nuclear weapons. So the decision now rests with Iran's new supreme leader and Khamenei's son, Mojtaba. But there are a few obstacles. We haven't seen Mojtaba since he was appointed supreme leader. But also, with Iran
I wonder if we're going to find the truth out about him.
being severely degraded by US and Israeli strikes, its capabilities to actually build a nuclear weapon, that remains very much unknown.
Watch this.
Iran built a military.
Now pay attention. This is how they built their military. They won't stop.
That cannot be stopped. Not by bombs, not by assassinations, not even by Iran itself. Here's the doctrine that explains why this war has no off switch. When Saddam Hussein's military collapsed in 11 days in 2003, Iran's generals watched and drew one conclusion. A centralized military dies when you kill the head. So in 2005, IRGC General Mohammad Jafari formalized what is now called the Mosaic Doctrine. The idea, break the military into 31 pieces.
Bingo, break the military into 31 pieces. Someone put this in my chat. Listen to this.
Per province, and make each piece capable of fighting alone forever. Each of Iran's 31 provincial commands has its own headquarters, its own weapon stockpiles, its own intelligence network, its own sealed orders, pre-written, pre-authorized, that activate the moment central command goes silent. No signal needed from Tehran, no order from the supreme leader. The trigger is the absence of an order to stop. This isn't a flaw in the design, it is the design. On February 28th, Israel and the US struck Iran's leadership infrastructure in what they called Operation Epic Fury. Khamenei was killed. The communication backbone that would carry a ceasefire order degraded by thousands of strikes. And the 31 commands kept firing. Because the doctrine said, if no one tells you to stop, don't stop. Here's where it gets remarkable. Hamas, the organization Iran armed for 17 years, publicly asked Tehran to stop targeting neighboring countries this week. The axis of resistance is arguing in public for the first time since it was created. Because even Iran's own proxies now understand what the doctrine's designers never built in. There is no off switch. The machine was built to survive without an operator. The operator is gone, and the machine is running. This is not a war Iran is winning. This is a war Iran can no longer end.
Did y'all hear that? There is no off switch. That was deep. Now we're going to get into the president's ratings, and then I'll take comments.
You know, I would say that House Republicans are running for the exits faster than kids do on the final day of school. I mean, just take a look here. Oh, hello, most House retirements since 1930. So far this cycle, already 36. That is the grand record over the last nearly 100 years. My goodness gracious. That actually beats the former record in total, which was 34 back in the 2018 cycle. And that wasn't that long ago. And I do recall that was a very, very good year for House Democrats.
It's gotten even lower, and I got it. Pay attention.
Bottom line is this: you don't run for the exits unless you know trouble is brewing. And House Republicans so far believe trouble is absolutely brewing.
Okay, how do you know that? What does history tell us about these types of exits?
Okay, so, you know, I say it's brewing, and sometimes I just like to pontificate, but sometimes I actually have facts behind me. Let's take a look here. Okay, party with the fewer House retirements since 1900.
They are running and they are retiring.
182 in midterms. They went on to win the U.S. House 80% of the time. Far fewer Democrats are retiring this cycle than Republicans. When one side runs for the exits, right? I'm doing my best right here, my best Usain Bolt right here. When one side runs for the exits, they lose the House of Representatives. When one side stays put, it's because they think something good is going to happen. And House Democrats clearly think something is good going to happen. And House Republicans clearly think something very bad is going to happen.
Again, we said this is basically a record since 1930, more than we've seen in 100 years. And that's just so far. I mean,
that's just so far. This is, I think, what's...
They like, we out of here. It's over. The Dems is taking over. Get ready.
So clear is this number is likely to climb ever higher.
Okay, so what are they looking at? Sam Graves last Thursday, and it was a surprise. It was a bit of a reversal. What might he have been looking at that caused him to retire?
You know, some elected officials aren't so smart, but many of them are. And they're looking at the same numbers we're looking at. And what they're looking at is the president of the United States and his approval rating. So why don't we just take a look here? Why are GOP retiring? Okay, when the president's approval is less than 50%. I went back all the way through the record books, all the way back since 1938, a midterm elections. When the House, the press party in the House.
He's going down in history for this.
House, on average, loses 34 seats. Loses 34 seats when the president's approval rating is less than 50%. Donald Trump isn't anywhere close to 50%. He's at 40%. The average, the House for the president's party, they lose 34 seats. The least was just 9. That was actually Joe Biden back in 2022. But guess what? House Democrats only need to pick up of 1, 2, 3 in order to gain a majority. So the least, even the worst case scenario for Democrats is not anywhere close to what Republicans need to hold on to the House of Representatives. And one little last
hold tight, Diamond Gang, because it gets worse.
Historical anecdote as I go over to the blackboard over here. The only 2 times that the president's party did not lose at least 3 seats was 1998 and 2002. You know what the president's approval rating was in those years? It was 6.
We have big news this evening. Republicans are declaring a 5-alarm fire because
5-alarm fire. This is how bad his ratings are.
Donald Trump's approval rating is now at the lowest point in either of his first or second terms, coming in at just 33%. At this rate, he may soon fall below 30% because we're getting word soon that gas prices, the average for a gallon of gas in the United States of America, may surpass.
I don't know how he's going to turn this around.
$4 as soon as this week. And you have folks within the Republican Party saying, for the love of all that is holy, we need to get out of Iran and work full time on people's financial worries. But this is not the only issue for them, because for the first time since Donald Trump took office, new polling shows that Americans believe that the economy was better under Joe Biden, not under Donald Trump. A major shift, 5-alarm fire. We'll have more updates for you soon, as always. So spread the word and follow along, stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. There'll be another update for you soon.
That's it, Diamond Gang. Now I'm going to go to you guys' comments. Crazy. This is crazy. I want to say thanks for everybody that participated in the chat. Subscribers, if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. Hey, what's up, Damon? And keep your notifications on, because I try to go live at least every day. Let me take some of you guys' comments, and then I got to exit stage left quickly. I got a DJ battle that I got to go to. Trump is an incompetent, lying. Yeah. It's the last for me, baby. There's no way in the HELL that I would stay at any Trump-owned property or hotels after this. It's just a matter of time until they strike back. You can't cuss in here. Dang, I would have loved to put that up, but I can't. I got to delete it. They're fighting for their God. We fight for freedom. That's true. This comment. Iranians are gentle and sober. They will not bend. And I believe that. I was in Iran and I said the same thing. Our boys and men are not as strong as they are. Those people are strong mentally. That's a fact. Chief, our men, they are in fear right now. Somebody said the U.S. military is kicking butt. Iran's leadership wiring money like crazy out of the country. So they're getting desperate. The rats are leaving the ship. Good sign that they know the end may be near. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. You said American, the mean machine of the world. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. Well, Diamond Gang, I would like to stay longer, but like I said, we are at the 2-hour mark. Keep your notifications on. Shouts out to all my beautiful mods. I love y'all. And my intro and outro video is all that. Thank you, Hey Peanut. You the best. You the best. You the best. You the best. All right, Diamond Gang. I gotta get up out of here. So please hit that like, hit that like. Keep your notifications on.
It's your under degrees. Sip on me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea.